My name is Lonnie Ray Atkinson, and this is another installment of Unsafe. As long as the fossil fuel companies keep tailoring the suits of our political pimps in D.C., you and I are going to keep on getting drilled, baby, drilled, and the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change's recommendation for a carbon tax is going to keep on being considered a controversial. Meaning that if a carbon tax is still considered hard to swallow, a methane tax might as well be one of those weird military ration crackers. Because ever since fracking became the new fucking, horny politicians have been running around with a 24/7 cum face. Who gives a shit if methane is 50 times worse for the atmosphere than carbon dioxide? Haven't you heard? Natural gas is cheaper than ever, and flammable tap water is the flavor of the month. Here's the thing, even when renewable energy finally prices non-renewable energy out of the market, we're still going to need a methane tax, because as long as factory farming is the major producer of methane, there's still a really good chance we're going to finish turning this planet into one big easy bake oven. And you know what? You don't even have to think of it as a tax. Just think of it as cows wearing a swear jar on their ass. Which might be funny if scientists hadn't already created actual backpacks for cows to capture and store their butt burps. That's right, instead of implementing a methane tax, we're thinking about spending our money on sci-fi fart jars. To hell with acting responsibly, we would rather gamble on the mad scientists / fortune seekers of the geoengineering gold rush and roll the dice on Franken-nature. And why? Because if a methane tax is to mean anything, what it really means is that we have to start eating less meat. And fuck that! If our climate doctors told us that we were going to collectively die from ass cancer, but we could beat it if we just quit consuming meat-based fast food for 1 year, you know as well as I do, we'd be sneaking a McRib after the second day. I swear to your God, I told a buddy of mine about this shit, and he literally said the words, I know the planet is important and all, but a fucking steak? And it doesn't matter how much they improve fake meat either. To a red blood shitting American, meat is to fake meat what sex is to condoms. Meaning that we are more than willing to give the planet drug-resistant gonorrhea if for no other stated reason than nothing beats a good steak. I don't know who's worse, us having no self-control or the CEOs of the flesh industry / cruelty to plate pipeline who would rather cross their hearts and literally hope to die before the profits run out. Speaking of cruelty, is it not a little cosmic payback, or should I say cosmic payback, that the last nail in our climate coffin would be our casual acceptance of the utterly gruesome conditions within our slaughterhouses? It's definitely not a surprise. If we didn't quit eating meat to benefit ourselves, we're definitely not going to quit eating meat for the benefit of the meat. But still, you have to admit, that is some medium well karma, where instead of doing the right thing a long time ago and exerting a little willpower and or political willpower, we would rather wait in vain for the mad scientists to figure out a way to hook cows' brains into computer programs like some bovine matrix where they think they're living their lives happily grazing in the pasture, while in reality they're being pumped full of antibiotics and steroids so they can resist manure flu long enough to get their throats slit and be ground up and mixed with blood and feces into a patty to be half-ass cooked and slid between 2 stale pieces of bun and a slice of fake cheese wrapped up and thrown into a box next to a child's toy. And stamped on that box will be a little round meaningless logo so consumers can tell themselves that their Matrix meat was ethically sourced. Now I'll admit, progressives often get criticized for complaining too much about the problem and not talking enough about the solution. And I think often that is a fair criticism. But this is a case where we already know what the solution is, we're just not willing to implement it. Whether it's meat or fossil fuels or water or any other finite resource, we can't just keep consuming whatever we want without giving the planet type 2 diabetes. We already know that, just like we already know that we need to go beyond a carbon tax and institute a methane tax, but we prefer to bury our head in the sand. And by sand, I mean the new Double Dog Dare Bacon Stroke Burger from Hardee's. But here's what else we already know, but we're not ready to make happen. Instead of having to perpetually figure out which new tax it's going to take to price ourselves out of the embarrassingly premature extinction market, how about we figure out what kind of human survival choreography actually matches the drumbeat of science? Because I'm telling you, if our stupid asses keep on arguing with physics, nature is very soon going to slap us with a tax so high, motherfuckers will be happy to pretend that kale juice is steak sauce and rice cakes are ribeye. If you dig what I'm doing and you would like to help me keep on doing it, you got two options. You can share this video with others and or click below the video to show me some love. Either one is greatly appreciated.